Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I've never shouted like that before, I don't think. But hello, everybody. Welcome back. I have a bit of a sore throat, so if I sound bizarre, I do apologize. It is episode 15 of Tyria Then, the Guild Wars Back Then show. I should find a new descriptor for this show every time
I think the Back Then show was pretty good.
Tyria Back Then is actually a better show name than Tyria Then, and
It's all right.
For not the first time in the introduction to this show, I'm experiencing a feeling of regret.
It's okay.
For coming up with better ideas too little too late.
You
Better
just
ideas too little too late is also a good podcast show name.
I was about to say you counterbalanced your enthusiastic "Hello, everyone" with just sadness.
Yeah, sadness and too little too late would accurately encapsulate our Guild Wars 2 related discussion that we were having before the show started.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Miko.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
We
Good to be back.
Yes, we are back with quite a beefcake of an episode.
Yes. Why is that, Aaron?
This is quite the quaggin casserole of an episode. Is that working? Is that funny?
That was funny, but also you're gonna
cut that out.
If anyone doesn't know what quaggins are, then I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll have to Google it and go to the Guild Wars 2 wiki.
I absolutely love the concept of somebody listening to this show in 2024 and they play Guild Wars 1 and have not touched Guild Wars 2 ever.
There are people out there who refused to play Guild Wars 2.
I want to meet that person and shake their hand.
Yeah, there were several people who were like, no, I can't do it. And they just stayed Guild Wars 1 players.
And now they've got 80,000 hours in Guild Wars 1.
Mm-hmm.
They have a requirement 7 Bone Dragon staff of every attribute. And they have all those exclusive magazine contest minis.
Yes.
And an entire storage character just full of stacks of arm braces of truth.
Yep.
If anybody understood any of that terminology, I take my hat off to you.
Well done.
Anyway, yes. we did play the game.
We did a lot of playing.
Woo, we did so much playing. Woo. We each needed multiple days to get through.
We did. We were ambitious with the playthrough for this show.
We were, yeah.
We decided to do all of the Southern Shiver Peaks missions, all 3 of them.
We did the whole damn section.
Quest. We did. We're like, we're knocking out 1. All right.
Luckily, it is a region that only has 3 side quests, and one of those side quests is a primary quest.
Yeah.
Which is, we'll talk about that. But yeah, we, due to the way the show is structured and how many missions are left in Prophecies, we decided to just go for the big money and knock out all 3 of the Southern Shiver Peaks missions in one episode. And then the next episode we're going to do, here's how I think we're going to do it. I think next episode we're going to do 2 missions and another bonus mission pack mission.
Ooh.
And then for the final episode, we will of course play the final mission, and then we're going to have just an open chit chat about how awesome the game is. So that's, we're thinking episode 17 for the final Prophecies episode. And then there may be some bonus content coordinated in live stream format for post endgame stuff, like Sorrow's Furnace and Underworld. I don't know if I ever want to go back to Underworld, actually. But we'll find out. But for now, we played the Southern Shiver Peak section. Plot recap, Miko, hit me with the good stuff.
So in episode 14, so our previous episode, we played through lots of side quests that took us back to the desert. And really, we were just unlocking the paths to change our secondary professions if we wanted to, and get some extra attributes for our builds. And then we played through Dragon's Lair mission, where the big reveal was that the Creepy Voice, who had done a little bit of creepy voicing, belonged to a dragon called Glint. And Glint wanted to put us to one last test we had to go in and kill basically echoes of her powers in the form of what she called facets. And then she presented us with a vision that told us that our quest, our path of greatness, I guess if you want to call it, or our path of destiny.
Destiny, yeah.
Yes, is to go on and defeat the Mersat, because that's who the actual unseen ones are. They are a race of casters. They are an ancient race, and they have convinced the White Mantle to work for them, to destroy the Chosen because of this prophecy that Glint predicted 800 years before. Is that was that?
I'm not gonna lie. I do not have the exact yearage of Glint's unfurling of the Flameseeker prophecies. I don't know the date where she went up the mountain and spoke with Balthazar and came back down with the Flameseeker prophecies on 2 stone tablets.
Yes, it was it. Well, I fortunately have my notes from last episode, and it is 800 years. I just had to scroll a bit and find where that was.
Or as Glint would say, 800 years.
Yes, because she does sound a bit like that. And so she said that she's been waiting around for us, because we are the Chosen that she's been waiting for. And we've now awakened the gift of true sight that lay dormant within us, because we've ascended. And so now we're supposed to go take out the Mersat, defeat the White Mantle, save our Shining Blade friends, and
by the way, this is all taking place in the Southern Shiver Peaks. Go there.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, we're supposed to go to the Ring of Fire to capture the power of the flame.
Yes.
And the one thing that I didn't know, I had written down in my notes and I didn't mention it last time, the irony of all of this, because the person who sent us to Glint in the first place was Vizier Kilebron.
It was, yeah.
And then, we heard nothing about Vizier Kilebron at all. And Glint doesn't even mention Vizier Kilebron.
She does not.
So I'm like, so much for you guys being, homies. So yeah, she tells us we've got lots of questions. She knows, but we're on a need-to-know basis. Go save your friends. Go now.
Yeah, it is remarkable how little Vizier Kilebron is actually in the story.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a little more to say about him at the end of this episode, and
yes.
A little bit more to say about what would now seem a very random character that showed up when we first entered Kryta. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we spawn in Droknar's Forge, which is a dwarven city of the Deljamor dwarves, who are the good guys, after we go through a portal in Glint's lair. And Miko wandered around Droknar's Forge and actually explored. I was so hell-bent on getting more attribute points that I did not. Mm-hmm. Is there anywhere in Droknar's Forge where there's actually a portal that we would emerge from, or is that just something we're not supposed to pay attention too much to?
There is no. Short answer is really no. There is one area where you can kneel at an altar, and instead of, summoning one of the old gods of Tyria, we can summon a vision of Glint. And this becomes important later on.
Right, and I think
now, but for now, all the vision tells you is your ascension is not the end, but rather a new beginning. Go and help your friends.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Basically, a repeat of what she told us in Dragonslayer.
Yeah, and I know that you use that facet of Glint to get the post-endgame quest chains. I wonder if that little altar in that Glint vision was added post-endgame or not. Mm-hmm. Because it would be very funny to have it there just as in the standard launch prophecies. Because we went through all this horse shit to talk with Glint, and it turns out we could just kneel at a shrine and have a chat. That would aggravate me as an adventurer. Because she made us go through a whole lot of horse shit. I don't think I've ever felt like Guild Wars was more of a slog than in episode 13 of Tyria then. when we were trying to get Dunes of Despair done.
Oh man, yes.
That's the most aptly named mission in the game.
It really is. Yeah. Those Ascension trials are no joke.
Yeah. No, I think I'm glad that I shan't be doing those again. Mm-hmm. And so we spawn in Droknar's Forge, and you ran around Droknar's Forge. What's it like there in the Southern Shiver Peaks in this capital city?
It's very big. Things are very spread out. There is a boat that has that belongs to the Brotherhood of the Dragon, and you find out that the Brotherhood of the Dragon are a dwarven group, that they have they basically have gone out into the world to champion basically Glint's mission. They're not just keeping themselves to their dwarven brethren and to the Southern Shiver Peaks, but they're trying to do good out in the world.
Okay, so there's other hints that because I understand in Guild Wars 2 there's like this whole Glint like cult, and the Brotherhood of the Dragon is like has to do with that. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I wonder if that was all added after, or if that's always been part of the Prophecies campaign. And Droknar's Forge is like, she's got like, the idea is that she has a portal from her lair that goes to that little Glint shrine, because with them having other Brotherhood of the Dragon, because that Glint shrine it's surrounded by Brotherhood of the Dragon dwarves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and if you've played Factions, which we're getting there, we'll get there.
Very soon. Yeah.
The Brotherhood of the Dragon do feature in Cantha, and the ship actually has a very Canthan look to it. Which, it's just sitting there, this Canthan-looking ship in the middle of, the Southern Shiver Peaks. Does
the captain of the ship have the last name Ty, by chance?
No.
Okay, no new Ty.
No new ties. No.
I'm sure we will find a new Ty in Cantha. I don't actually know if there is one, but I hope there is. I hope there's Jaiju Ty relatives in Cantha.
Yes, we need to find out what's happening with that family.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, Droknar's Forge is really big. There's like a big statue in the middle. Is it of a dwarf?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there's like a big statue of something.
Yeah.
And
probably a dwarf, yeah.
Everything is as far apart from everything else as possible in this city. There's like quadrants, so there's like a crafting area, and then there's like a merchant area, and then away from all of that is a storage bin.
Right.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah, and the thing that was going on, so the Winter's Day in July was happening while I was running around Droknar's, so I was slightly distracted by the Winter's Day people.
Right, yeah, it was holiday decor, and I didn't actually... I might have missed it. I might have played it the week following you, so I might have missed Winter's Day in July, because I don't think I remember seeing any festive decorations, but yeah.
Yeah, and the decorations really weren't around, because I looked around, but it was mainly the NPCs that were there. There was like an avatar of Grunt and an avatar of Dwayna, so you could do like some fighting and whatnot.
Game, yeah.
Yeah,
there's fun little games, guys. We did not play them.
No.
We're playing the real game.
We were trying to cram in a lot of content for this episode. So yeah.
Yeah, and the content we crammed in starts with a guy that's standing right next to that statue that we don't remember what it's actually of. I think it's of the Great Dwarf. Droknar, the dwarf who founded the city. I think he's an ancient dwarven king. He might even be the first king of the dwarves, but he might also just be a legendary smith. I'll check the game and I'll report back next episode. Comment down below if you think I'm actually going to do that.
No, but I wikied. He was the king of the dwarves.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Now I don't have to do that, but you still have to comment down below with whether you think I was going to do it. Them's the rules. But we got to talk to a guy named Hugo Bronzebeard, and I think he's called Captain Hugo Bronzebeard.
He is.
And he basically tells us to go do his job for him.
Pretty much.
which is an apt description of more or less any quest giver in a video game.
However, I will say that the NPCs that we have to talk to, that he sends us to go talk to, have some pretty funny dialogue. Their reactions on like the fact that he sent us to do his job instead of getting off his own duff to do his job.
They straight up call him lazy. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Hugo says two of his scouts that he sent ahead, Korg and Onar, that sounds like two goofy ogres in like your friend's homebrew D&D campaign, have been ordered to go ahead to find a being called the Seer. That's yes. Seer, Seer. He says that the Seers are some sort of like ancient spellcasters that the dwarves have heard mentioned in, quote, ancient texts. Mm-hmm. And that apparently they may know a secret to protect from the Mersat's deadly magic. And I think we recapped what the Mersat look like last episode, but it shows them in the cutscene that Glint gives us. They're big yellow. They look like Big Bird. They look
Not really, though.
They look like Hellspawn Big Bird.
Yeah, they are golden and they float, and then they have like these black, feathery, like tentacle things that come off their back.
Well, when you describe them like that, they don't sound like Big Bird.
No.
But they kind of look like if Big Bird had like a mask from Stargate SG-1 and could fly. I don't know how else to put it other than that they're big and yellow, and they cast a spell called Spectral Agony that if you don't have the Seer's protection will do 100 damage a second and give you minus 10 health degeneration. Yes. It's basically a death sentence.
Pretty much.
So we need to go find some being called a Seer to protect us from this. And when I spoke to Krog outside of, and he's standing like right outside. I don't even think you have to fight anything. He accuses Hugo of being lazy. He says he hasn't found anything, and that the Stone Summit have been driven from their minds by the Mersat. So the Mersat are fighting a war on two fronts. They're fighting the Delgamore and the Stone Summit. Mm-hmm. The Stone Summit, of course, being dwarves that we ran into in the northern Shiver Peaks, who are really big into just being like hateful bastards. Yeah.
And Korg tells us that they sent Rornak to scout out the ice caves of sorrow, which is, if you guys remember, Rornak, Stone Sledge, right? That's his name?
I want to say so. I did just write Rornak because I'm not writing out Stone Sledge every time that
He's the guy. Notate. He is the scout that always gets captured. Please remember that detail.
Yes, I believe he gets captured in one of the quests, and then he gets captured again in one of the missions, and now he's captured for a third time in another mission.
He's not a very good scout. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, he's the joke, the meme, Rornak is kind of a meme character, and the scouts even say, dude, they sent Rornak ahead. He's probably gotten captured by now.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think that's a really funny joke that they keep referencing. That's good. I personally think Rornak should be in every campaign getting captured. Like that'd be funny. Fantastic. But I think he's just in prophecies. And then Onar, he's a little ways down the road. He says he doesn't know anything else about the Seer, but that the Delgamore were working with the White Mantle against the Mersat. I copied that down wrong. The Delgamore were working with the Shining Blade against the Mersat. The Delgamore definitely are not working with the White Mantle. No. The White Mantle are the stooges of the Mersat.
That's right.
And he says this is strange. Onar doesn't have a whole lot to say. Like, he doesn't have any new information for us. No. I don't actually know why they added a second scout to this quest. It doesn't add anything.
The only thing that Onar says that's new is that Avenia has been captured, and we already knew that, but
because Hugo told us that, and Glint told us that.
Yeah, so in case you hadn't been paying attention, you get to find this out now.
They do a lot of that in the writing for this game, like a lot of in case you missed it. They do a whole lot of those. So we're paying attention, so obviously they seem annoying to us, but they're just desperately trying to get people to keep the plot straight.
Right.
So he says that Blade Scout Shelby is ahead and will hook us up. So we have to go into the outpost, the Ice Caves of Sorrow outpost, to talk to Blade Scout Shelby, who is our podium individual.
Yep. She's the podium gal.
I found the quest reward dialogue to be interesting. Mm-hmm. So Shelby says that she is going to, quote, compensate us for our journey. Right. But the only thing we get as a reward from this quest is experience. Mm-hmm. This implies that experience points physically exist in the world of Tyria.
I mean, you know.
I'm just putting that out there. I know that's the most pedantic take on this quest possible, but I'm laying that out there for anybody to turn over in their mind as they will. And then, so she's the podium person for Ice Caves of Sorrow. Right before we roll into Blade Scout Shelby, the podium gal, we had a couple side quests out of Droknar's Forge.
Yes.
The hero's journey is a meme quest.
It is, because the hero's journey is, so the quest giver here is an NPC called Vanyi, and Vanyi sends us out for the hero's journey. She tells us to go to the Seeker's Passage, Destiny's Gorge, and Hero's Audience. Those are all outposts out in the Crystal Desert. We've already been there. We have. So we go, all you got to do is like just zone into just teleport into those three.
This quest takes 30 seconds.
It literally takes 30 seconds. Yeah. And you advance the quest objectives. But really what it is, the real purpose of this is in case you have forgotten or did not realize that you could talk to the ghosts to get the quests to change your secondary profession. Then this is another opportunity for you to go back and find out that you can do that.
Yeah, because those outposts, when we talked about this in our desert episodes, that those outposts that the quests are in, you could do the whole mission chain and never find one of these. Mm-hmm. So this quest exists to make sure you go and find those just in case you want to change your second profession. And she tries to roast you for not taking the quests. And I'm like, I did the quests. Go away. Get out of here.
She's like, no. Don't bother denying it. I would have known if you had actually talked to those ghosts.
Yeah, she's like, talk to the ghosts next time, dumbass. Yeah. And I'm like, I did every quest. I got that dude's sword. That went nowhere. Okay? Don't fucking come at me.
Yeah.
They unsuccessfully try to roast Miko and I for not doing quests that we absolutely did. Yeah. But her next quest is more interesting.
Yes. It gives us 5,000 experience instead of just 500. And another set of attribute points. Another 15 attribute points.
Really? Does it give you 5,000?
5,000 XP? Yep.
This quest is considered a Villainy of Galrath caliber quest?
Apparently.
Harsh shit.
You know. I think, you know. So this one, she tells us to go off, she's like, you've got a radiant aura. Why don't you go and, find my sister Sanyi, and, she's gonna help you unleash your hidden power. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. But what we end up doing is finding Sunny, who likes to troll us into following her.
Okay, I have an amazing... I don't know if you noticed this about this model, and I don't even know if it's something specific to this character or if it's part of this model always. Did you notice that Sanyi... So the model used for Sanyi is the same model that is used for some of the bandits in like pre-searing Ascalon?
Yeah. Did I was like, why is there a bandit fire starter out here? But okay.
Yeah, it's one of them motherfuckers. And did you notice she's got a little pipe in her mouth?
Was she really?
She's got a little Frosty the Snowman pipe in her mouth. Yeah, I'm gonna put a picture of it up on the screen.
She's got a corncob pipe. Does she have a button nose?
You know what? No button nose. Distinctly like witch-like expression on this woman. Let me see if I can find... That's the Guild Wars 2 folder. That's not it. Live on the podcast, guys. Hunting for screenshots.
There you go.
Let me see if I can pull this. I can. Alright. Let me copy this. Okay, Miko. This is gonna blow your fucking mind.
I'm waiting for this. Dude, what the heck? She totally does.
And my favorite part about it is that it's tiny. It's
itty
bitty.
That is itty bitty for real.
It took
Wow.
me, you have no idea how long it took me to get a screenshot of this, because it was, we were in combat, and she does not stop moving. So it took me a long time to get this screenshot, but worth it.
But she likes to troll us because she's just like, hey, keep up. Why are you taking so long to, like, follow me? Stop fighting things. And I'm like, I'm literally on your heels. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, she never gets too far away. Even stopping to fight things, she walks so slowly that I'm in no danger of losing her at any point.
Yeah, exactly. But she just likes to troll us and tell us to keep up.
Yes. And while I was following her, I ran into a boss with an interesting name.
Oh. And
I ran into a couple of these.
Okay.
Did you run into any interesting bosses in this playthrough?
I did. Well, I did. And for this, during this quest, I ran into 3 that had cool boss names. Who did you run into?
So I ran into, these are both ice golem bosses.
Okay.
One is named Boreal Cube Claw.
That's a good name.
The other is Berg Frozen Fist.
Oh, that's a good one too.
And these are both good names. So they're like icy, right? Cube Claw, Boreal, Berg, Frozen, right?
Yeah.
But the reason they stand out to me is because Boreal Cube Claw, ice golems do not have claws.
Yep.
Berg Frozen Fist, ice golems do not have fists.
They just sort of have limbs.
Their hands are chunks of ice. Yep. So I found it interesting that both ice golem bosses are named. I don't know what the word would be to describe, erroneously, I guess. Because those don't happen on ice golems. They are chunks of ice.
Yeah. Well, I ran into 2 Pine Soul bosses. Oberit, not Orbit, Oberit, Barkwood.
I read it as Orbit, like the gun.
Yeah. I did as well, and I double checked, but I wrote down Oberit Barkwood, which kind of made me sound like whoever named him was over it. And then Eshnal Hardwood, and appropriately, woody sounding names for Pine Soul bosses, since the Pine Souls are 2 enemy types that we've run into in this playthrough. They're basically trees.
Yeah, they're snowy versions of the tree guys. I think, were they called Pine Souls in the Northern Shiver Peaks, or are they called something else?
They were called something else.
Snow Boys. I don't know. But they're the big tree dudes. They look like what the the avatar of Melandru looks like, and all of that ilk, right?
Yeah.
And then did you have a third one too?
Yes. This was a Stone Summit herder, and he was called Mescal Iron Healer. And he was a monk.
I like the monk names. They always reference their monkness, and I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's a shame you did not run into Roth Yak Slapper, but we can't all be Roth Yak Slapper.
That's right.
Yeah, all the really good Stone Summit bosses are in Spearhead Peak and Grunt's Footprint, because those were added for Sorrow's Furnace. Okay. That's where you find your Roth Yak Slappers and your Thol the Bulls.
Those are good names.
Yeah, there's some very good boss names going on in Sorrow's Furnace. We may need to live stream Sorrow's Furnace.
Yeah. So
back
Sanyi,
to Sanyi.
Yeah, because she basically just takes us through Pine Soul and Azure Shadow enemies who are annoying. And
Azure Shadows, yeah, I didn't write. So I was compiling a list of all the new enemies we have, and I missed Azure Shadows.
We've run into Azure Shadows before.
They are a type of nightmare.
Shadows. Yeah.
Yeah, so like we had the nightmares in Kryta, and then we had what were they called? Like Dark Reavers or something in that mission in the Maguma Jungle?
Yeah.
Soul Reavers, something like that. Something badass. Yeah. And now they are Azure Shadows.
Yes.
And yeah, they're pretty easy. They're smiting monks.
They're smiting monks, yes.
Smiting sucks.
And they like to cast retribution on you, which sucks.
It like mildly sucks, but it's not that bad.
So she takes us through this area, but really you start seeing these weird enemy types that haven't popped up in the game before called Moraga Spawn.
Moraga, yeah, Mragga, right?
Yeah, and they look like squid.
Yeah, they do. And squids. There's another squid-like with the same skin later in this episode.
Yes.
I don't think we've encountered this enemy skin before.
No.
There's a few enemies in the game with this skin. I never really thought about this, but this is probably the first time in the game you would encounter these.
Yeah.
The next being in the Iron Mines mission, and then there's more of these in the underworld, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Moraga Spawn is what they're called. And
yeah,
I think they're level 22.
Yep, and they're all the Spawn ones are all Mesmers, if I'm not mistaken. And then when she finally, you have to kill a couple of these. They're pretty easy.
They are not dangerous.
No. Then she finally takes you to this little area that looks like a little arena. And your quest objective changes, and you have to kill Sanyi the Soul Eater. Is what the quest objective changes to, and you're like, oh, okay.
Because she just changes into Moraga? She
just changes into Moraga, yeah. So,
but the quest says Sanyi the Soul Eater.
Sanyi the Soul Eater, yeah. And so Sanyi the Soul Eater, she just changes into Moraga, or into Moraga, which is another one of these squids, but she's a Necro, level 28 Necro.
And she has like a little speech before she changes, doesn't she?
Yes, I can't remember what she says.
Because I was focused on fighting, I was like, I can't copy all this down. And she says something about, like, I've survived in these mountains for a very long time.
For a very long time, and
by killing stupid fuckers like you.
Pretty much, yeah. And basically what we learn is that Vanyi basically feeds people who she thinks are strong, basically so that Sanyi can kill them.
It's like a Highlander thing. Like, when she kills you, she absorbs your power. So she only wants Vanyi to send her, like, strong, powerful people. So then when she devours them, she grows in strength in, like, an equivalent manner. So we're very big and strong because we were able to beat Moraga.
Right.
And this is stuff that Vanyi tells us after we go back to her, after we kill Moraga.
Yeah.
Moraga fight, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, pretty chill. I was able to handle it.
She does spawn a bunch of her Moraga Spawn friends, so you've got, like, the little Mesmer trash that you've got to kill, as well as her.
Yes. Yeah, and we were able to take her down. I don't think anyone died. I think she has, like, some sort of life-stealing skill, because I think she was kind of hard to kill, just damage-wise. But yeah, that didn't go too badly for me. And then you take the quest back to Vanyi. And not the first enemy we've killed labeled Soul Eater. We killed a Soul Eater last episode.
We did.
And then there's going to be... I don't think it's the last Soul Eater. I mean, there's a Soul Eater enemy in Guild Wars 2, isn't there?
Yes. The Eater of Souls shows up in the
Raid Wing.
Well, the Raid Wing, but also in the Path of Fire story.
Oh, yeah. I hate that quest.
I know.
Okay, yeah, no, we've got ArenaNet, very Soul Eater pilled.
Yes.
Not to be confused with the anime, which I'm sure, it seems someone at ArenaNet is a big fan.
Maybe, yeah.
Because they keep putting Soul Eaters into the game.
We're trying to see if we pay attention. We're paying attention, ArenaNet. We're paying attention.
Bingo.
So yes, but Vanyi, what did you think of what she has to tell you about this? Because I kind of thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no, I like this. This quest, like, while I don't think it's a 5,000 XP quest, I do think the story is cool. Because Vanyi basically says her father was a guy from, and we hear this name again, Ascalon's Chosen.
Right, which is Adalbern's Guild.
Adalbern's Guild. Devona is in this guild. Devona's father was also in this guild. And I Googled it on this episode because I was curious. No, the other members of, quote, the gang are not members of Ascalon's Chosen. It's just Devona. They moved to... So Vanyi and her father moved to the mountains to get away from strife. And what do you know, when they moved to the wilderness to get away from strife, they were immediately consumed by a demon. So that plan didn't work. It failed. So Vanyi's fate has been to lure powerful souls to Moraga, or Sanyi, devourer of souls, to be fed upon, basically.
Yeah.
And she literally pats us on the back and is like, "You're very strong for defeating Moraga."
Yeah. And I guess the implication is that she's been trying to find a hero that was going to be strong enough that could take Sanyi down, because then she would be free, as she now is.
Yeah, basically what she says is, I only send ascended people out there because that's the only people who will stand a chance, which kind of like, it's funny because it like contextualizes the idea of her giving this quest to every player who runs through.
Yeah.
Which is, I always enjoy that in an MMO when they kind of reference the multiplayer aspect of the game.
Yeah.
But we get plus 15 attributes from this quest.
We do. Yep.
So now I'm sitting at, I think last episode before this, I was at like 14 hammer mastery and like 11 strength, and now I'm at 13 strength, 14 hammer mastery.
Nice.
Yeah, so very big hit hard hammerman good.
That's good. Yeah, I ended up running these quests after I did the missions, so I don't think I've actually distributed the points yet.
Because build is slapping so hard, she's like, I don't need attribute points.
I know, I literally just forgot.
It's not important. She's like, I have Melandru's resilience now, I don't care.
Oh man. Look, I'll have to tell you a story about my elite skill choices here.
Oh yeah, because we've got a mission coming up that has the opportunity for you to capture a very nice elite skill.
Yes.
That I also forgot to capture, so that's something that because I said last episode I was going to capture it, and I, as usual, I didn't bring my signet.
Oh no, I brought it along because I was like, yes, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get Barrage. Anyways. Yeah,
I'm the classic forgetter of capturing. So yeah, we do that for Vanyi. We get our attribute points. That was the first thing I did because I couldn't wait to get those. And then I realized that getting through the frozen forest was easier said than done. Right. So I did the first mission first, and then I went out and did that so I could leave from Iron Mines.
Right.
Did you grab the Copperhammer Mines outpost that's right next to where Sanyi's standing?
I forgot to. I was like, "Ooh,
right
Copperhammer Mines!" I know. I saw it, and then I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna go get it." And then I just teleported back to Droknar's, and I was like, "Crap!" And I didn't run out again to go get it.
Well, because you know what you can do. So Sanyi is there regardless of where you leave from. So I went into the portal first before talking to her, and then I went back out and I did the quest.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to use that outpost. It's a useless outpost. There's nothing there. There is a skill trainer there. He did not have any skills I needed.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah. But that would warp us back to the Ice Caves of Sorrow, where we're chit-chatting with Blade Scout Shelby about what we need to do for the mission. What did you think of our conversation with Blade Scout Shelby?
So the first thing that I noticed about Blade Scout Shelby is that
I enjoy that we're saying her full titled name every single time we talk about her.
She's funny. The first thing that I noticed about her is that she will occasionally and quite literally fall asleep on the job and wake herself up.
Like, this is animated?
Yes.
Her character animations falls asleep
while standing up, and then all of a sudden she just kind of like shakes herself awake.
I'm gonna go look at that in the game.
And I don't worry, because I've recorded it for you, and you'll actually see that Reyna does the same animation. And
is it a ranger thing?
Is this a ranger animation? My character's never done this.
I don't know of an emote for that either.
Yeah, no, I was checking, because yes, I was standing around writing notes, and all of a sudden I look up and I see that she's fallen asleep and woken herself up, and I was like, "What just happened?" And so I just stood there, waiting for it to happen again. I hit record, and Yeah, so I was able to capture it. So you've got some footage of that. If you're...
What is up with the NPC insanity in this episode? They're smoking pipes. They're falling asleep on the job. None of this is in the game code.
No,
what is going on? I like this.
Yeah.
Naturally, the first dialogue option I clicked was the one that said, it was Marcus.
This is Marcus's fault, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, well, she was glad to see us. She didn't think that we would make it back.
Well, she compensated us for our journey with 500 experience points.
I know, but she didn't think that we would make it back from Sanctum K.
Yeah, she said she thought the worst when we didn't come back. Now, when you click through these dialogues, something I learned while playing through this series is that if you go top to bottom, that is the correct order of the conversation. The conversation will flow through it that way.
Yeah.
If you kick one in the middle, you will simply miss the first one, and you have to talk to her again and re-click it to get it.
Right.
But I could not resist clicking the Marcus option.
Yeah. Yeah, and yes, she tells us that he was the one, and that he led a bunch of the White Mantle to Denravi. So you remember back in, I forget what episode it was, that you were like, why are there like White Mantle signposts outside of Henge of Denravi when it's a Shining Blade outpost? And I think this is the reason why. This
is Marcus's subtle signal to the White Mantle, placing a named signpost in the Henge of Denravi. I like this.
Like, hey, by the way, you guys think that you guys have this, but actually, no, it's actually ours again. So yeah, Marcus, jackass.
Absolute jackass. Yep. And as far as this mission goes, she says that they're basically being held in a pen, not far away, and we need to go figure it out.
Yeah, they being Avenia and Cedra.
Yes.
They're trying to free them. They're trying to work with the Deldrimor to free them. But now that we've come along, well, maybe things will actually get done.
And the reason that the White Mantle haven't made it to Droknar's Forge yet is because they're fighting a war on two fronts, against the Deldrimor and against the Stone Summit. And we see that in this mission. We run into like a battle that's being fought between the Stone Summit and the White Mantle. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, great, I'm hostile to both of these factions. Wonderful.
Right.
Now, this mission, did you find this mission aggravating?
This mission is aggravating only in the sense that you have to avoid fighting the Mursat and the Jade constructs, because they will kill you with their spectral agony. With
their spectral goop, yeah.
Yeah.
I found the beginning of this mission so aggravating. I had to restart this mission like 3 times, just because of my own stupidity.
Yeah, the beginning was confusing. I got kind of turned around and lost. I couldn't figure out where the path was at, and I had the wiki map open. And I was like, where exactly are they sending us?
I kept going through that stupid spot where the siege is landing, and and eating shit. And then finally I was like, you're supposed to go around it, you fucking idiot.
Well, I went through it just because I was trying to get the... I think this is the right... I've got this straight in my head. But yeah, I was trying to get some morale boosts, if I could. But isn't this the one where we've got to just follow the frozen river?
Yeah, so you skirt around this big pothole where they're firing siege over and over again on the same spot. I don't think that's how you're supposed to do that with siege equipment, but that's the strategy. Hey, it got me once. I literally died. I wiped to it at one point.
Yeah.
There's an enemy mob that's in this crater, and they're like it's like not possible to not aggro them, right? So at some point you have to kill them, and it requires some hero flagging to fight them not in the crater. It's really annoying. That takes you down to where the Stone Summit is firing their siege from their siege boats. There's 2 siege boats. They're in the frozen river, and you basically got to go in there and kill everything. And
that's right.
Yeah, and it's a chore because there's a lot of enemies, and you can pull and avoid over aggroing, but you might win if you just aggro everything. So it's hard to maintain your patience.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a boss. He's a necro boss. He summons bone fiends. They're very annoying.
Yes.
So I due to the number of times that I restarted this mission, I both aggroed everything and was successful, and pulled tediously and was successful. So you can do it both ways.
Yeah.
And the first siege lever, I think you get a morale boost for killing each siege operator.
Yes.
But you only get the cutscene and the outcome you need if you finish pulling both levers. Or if you pull the second lever.
If you pull the second lever. Yeah, because I remember I pulled the first lever and nothing happened. And so then I pulled the second lever and then something happened. And then I had to restart the mission for, I forget why. And then I just pulled the second one. And I was like, oh, okay, well, there you go.
So when you pull this lever, I love how, like, little context there is for what happens when you pull this lever. Because she tells you to go in here and figure out how to rescue Evenia from the White Mantle. And then I wander in, I kill some Stone Summit, and I pull a lever. And, like, the most... Like, you know those breakfast machines where you start by, like, putting a ball in a chute, and it, like, makes toast for you after a billion steps?
Right.
That's what we do with this siege equipment shot that we make. We fire siege into a Dolyak pen.
and stampede and kill all the White Mantle and take out everyone we would have had to fight.
With no planning. Like, there's no discussion of this plan or anything. This just happens.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, that was convenient. Thanks.
Yeah, it's like a Wallace and Gromit skit. It's fantastic. So that keeps the White Mantle from firing their siege, so we can actually cross, like, the no man's land between the trenches to get over to the White Mantle side where Evenia and Saedra are being held. And then we get to run powder kegs for a while because everybody loved that mechanic. It's back. And you have to get in. You've got to powder keg your way in, the dwarven powder keg your way into a tunnel system. And there are Mursat in there. There are Jade constructs in there, and you want to, if you have not done the thing yet in Iron Mines of Molodun, which we haven't yet, that gets you protection from the Mursat spell, Spectral Agony, which the Jade constructs can also cast. You don't want to aggro any Mursat or Jade constructs. So you really do need to kind of, like, figure out your way through the tunnel system so that you can kind of backdoor your way close to where Saedra and Evenia are without the Mursat coming after you. Yeah, and then the game goes and gives you a mission bonus that requires you to fight at least 2 groups of Jade and Mursat. Which makes no sense with where you are in the story. Right. I find that there's a serious level of dissonance there. Yeah. Because the what they're essentially wanting you to do is to come back to this mission and do it again to do the bonus, which is what I did. Yeah. And Miko, what is a Jade construct?
So the Jade constructs are these creatures. They have lots of edges. They're edgy. They're glowy black red. They kind of look like
kind of purpley.
Yeah, I was gonna say they look like lava glass.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they're kind of obsidian-y looking.
Yeah, obsidian. Thank you. That's the better word. And they also float. But they have arms. Is that correct? Am I thinking this right?
Well, they swing a hammer and they operate a bow. I'm pretty sure they have little arms. I think they're like cute little arms now that I'm thinking about it. Jade bow. Let's see if he's got arms. He does have arms. Yeah, they're actually pretty big. They're pretty big arms. Yeah. They do not have legs.
No, they don't have legs, but they have fists.
You could name one of these guys something fist, and it would be applicable. They are holding things, like they hold a bow and a hammer, so they do have hands.
They do have hands. Their arms are not fully defined. Like they're like blank space, basically.
Yeah, they're big. They're magically floating chunks of jade.
Yeah, they kind of come together into a shape.
Yes.
And they have eyes. They've got many eyes, I think. Looking at the wiki picture of them. Got six eyes and one in the middle. My lordy.
Well, what if they miss something? They need to be vigilant. These are like the minions of the Mursat. The Mursat are spellcasters. They do not do the hammer. They do not shoot the bow. They do not swing the sword.
Right.
That is for lesser beings. And they don't even trust lesser beings to do it. So they construct their own magical rock men to be their heavy hitters, essentially. And that is what the Jade construct is. If you'll recall all the way back to the Temple of Tolerance in Kryta, in the Delesio Seaboard mission.
Yep.
We got to this temple and we were like, there's these two really out of place purple pylons here.
Yeah, what are they?
What the hell are these? They're the same material. These are the jade things, and there's actually going to be a few of these later that a few of those pylons later that crumble and turn into these guys. They would have been really useful during that mission, but I digress. And then at the Temple of the Unseen in the Riverside Province mission, there is a door, and it is this same reddish purple jade material. Again, this is where that type of material comes from. It's associated with the Mursat. It's what they build their constructs out of.
Yep.
And yeah, you don't want to fight these guys if you don't have the upgrade that we get in the next mission. So I came back after completing the content for the episode, and I completed the bonus. We can talk a little bit about the bonus. So you read up on it, right?
I did, because I did not go back. My plan was to go back and run the bonus, but I ended up not doing it.
So since you didn't do it, you're probably not aware of the fake out door, are you?
No. What fake out door is this?
There's just a fake door that's not the bonus door. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. So when you're going through this cave, there's a side passage that goes off and you take it down and you do the bonus by blowing through this door. There's an identical side passage before it that goes down to a door with the same skin as the blow-upable doors. And it's got a group of Mursat outside. You put a keg down next to this door, it does not blow up. It does nothing. So I ran back, and of course what I did was I ran back and I got another powder keg and I put it next to the same fake out door, and it fails to blow it up again.
Right.
So now I'm getting angry. And I go on the wiki, and the wiki's like, yeah, make sure you go to the right door.
That explains, because I did read that in the thing, make sure you go to the right door, and I was like, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, it's about a literal fake door that is there for no reason.
Maybe this is how Rornak got captured.
It must have been. He must have been sitting there trying to blow open this door, and they just found him, right? Yeah. So I either this was like left in by mistake, or they are trolling the player deliberately.
I think this has to do with Rornak, because my notes say Rornak was looking for a secret passage, and he got himself caught. I bet you he was looking for the right door and found the wrong one.
Maybe, yeah, it's entirely possible. Because this door has invincibility cheats. It cannot be blown up.
Right.
Yeah, so stupid fake door that made me mad. Then I went and ran 2 more powder kegs so I could get through the correct door. So my mission footage is just full of powder keg-ism.
Fun.
Yeah, and you have to fight through the Mursat and the Jade to get these. They're small groups, but it's still challenging even if you have the upgrade against the Mursat magic, because your henchmen don't. So I'm the only one in my party that has this. So I have to flag my henchmen back and run in first and make sure the first cast of this spell gets cast on me by everyone there. And then I can flag my henchmen in to join the fight. And even then, I think I had a couple deaths due to recasts of Spectral Agony. But I was able to get it done. Once you get past it, you can get right to Rornak, and it's easy.
I tried to run the bonus in my first playthrough of this mission. And I was like, well, I don't have the upgrade, so I'm just going to send the henchmen in as a group and see what they do. See if they can, stay alive. And, they died. But if I could keep Lena alive, or if Lena didn't not die, then they had a chance, because then she could bring Alessia?
Alicia.
Alicia back, and yeah, they, then it was a matter of just keeping the warriors alive. So, so long as the groups were manageable and small, like no more than 3, and if we could like pull a little bit, then they had an easier time of it. But it still wasn't great.
And that reminds me, you bringing up Lena, reminds me, I linked this Reddit post to you, the Henchmen tier list.
Yes.
So I should get the name of the guy who made this, because this is one of the most incredible Reddit posts I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Reddit user who has ranked every single henchman in Guild Wars 1 in a tier list setting by profession.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm going to get this guy's username right now. User JSM2008 on Reddit.
Yes.
Thank you for this incredible post from 3 years ago on the Guild Wars subreddit, ranking all the henchmen. Because he actually has Lena ranked as the much more useful monk than Alicia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he has a point, because Alicia is just bad. You have to take her, but she's bad, right? Lena makes Alicia less bad, which makes Lena the more useful of the two, doesn't it? Yeah. So yeah, he's got all the protection henchmen listed as better than the healing ones, actually. Yeah. Which I think is interesting. So maybe I've just felt that maybe I've just had the wrong idea about protection prayers. My whole time playing this game.
Very useful.
Yeah,
prayers. I used to always set up one of my heroes as a protection monk.
Yeah, Takora is my protection monkey.
Takora, yep, same. Yeah,
for sure. Dunkoro, if you're not running heals on Dunkoro, you're doing it wrong. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the reason I was looking at that list was because I was trying to decide between some henchman choices, because we get some new henchmen in one of the later missions. So I'm going to leave that open for when we talk about that later.
Okay.
But yeah, Lena, goated.
Yes.
And yeah, once you get that bonus done, or whether you just skip it because it sucks, you get through this ice cave and you find yourself in like a Stone Summit mine area that the Mersat have taken over.
Yeah. And Avenia and Sadra are penned up, and you start seeing that they're like, we're over here. Hey, come and get us. We're over here. And it's like, yeah, I know that you're there. But there's like a crap ton blob of white mantle that are patrolling by, and also some Mersat over there. I have to make sure that they don't kill me. So yes.
Well, something I thought... So did you fight the group of white mantle?
So when I finally found a back door, another path in the cave that led me in, that I could use as a hiding place, I could let them kind of do their patrol, and I could kill them because they would split up. Okay. But if they stuck together as a blob, there were elementalists in there.
There's about casting 5 elementalists.
Yes, and they were casting Searing Heat,
which is just a pulsing fire AoE.
Yes,
it's like a better version of Firestorm, pretty much.
It will kill you if you're not careful, or you get hit by 5 of them at once. So don't ask me how I know about that. But yeah, so I found this backdoor area where I could hide and split them up, and then it was like, okay, we can do this, because there is another Deldrimor barrel. The barrels. What are they called again? My God, my brain is blanking.
Dwarven powder keg.
Powder kegs. My gosh, yes. The powder kegs.
I like Deldrimor barrel much better.
Yeah, so the powder kegs. There was another spawn point for them, but that little blob of elementalists and mesmers will just patrol in front of it. So you kind of have to be patient. Impatience is the enemy. And so if you can just be patient, let them walk away. You can run in, grab your keg, come back, blow up their door, and then you can use their pen to hide as well, if you need to.
Yeah, what I thought was actually really interesting about this mission is that they do a little bit of gameplay storytelling. because they do not raise the level of the White Mantle. All these White Mantle are level like 16 and 18.
Yeah.
So it kind of, it's like, wow, look at you shit on these guys now, right? Like it does a good job of illustrating how much more powerful we become as a player, and how much more powerful the real enemies are, because the Mursat are all level 24, right?
Right.
In the Southern Shiver Peaks, the average enemy level is 24. And then bosses are all level 28.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I was able to kill the big blob of White Mantle, and I think the reason for that is because I have a much more competent warrior tank in my group than your group has. Like you have warrior henchmen.
Yes, and you have yourself.
And I have myself, who's like stacked with strength and endure pain, right? So I can kind of charge in and take that giant elemental damage spike, and then we can nuke them down. So we were able to kill them.
That's good.
And then we blew open the cage, and then you have to immediately blow open another gate after the cutscene.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of flagging here with the henchmen to make sure that they didn't start charging off after.
Oh yeah, I had them flag back until I had everything blown open. But yeah, once we blow open the cage, we get a cutscene.
Yes, and the cutscene takes place. Saedra decides to go off and sacrifice herself for the good of getting Avenia out to safety. She's like, you take care of her, I'll go take care of them to buy you some time.
She says, to the end of us all.
To the end of us all. That is her line.
She makes this decision very quickly, too.
She does.
Immediately, she's like, guess I'm sacrificing myself. Bye.
And she just runs out. She hands Avenia her bow. She's like, I'm not going to need this. And she goes off with a sword and a shield. And I'm like, okay, you had that back pocket. Okay.
So you're
handing the monk your bow.
Well, and there's so many, I have so many problems with how this goes down. First of all, the bow, much more useful. Shoot them and run away and draw them off. Right?
Right.
Because when she runs in with the sword, there's so I just praised the gameplay storytelling. I'm going to shit on it now. Because once this cutscene ends, so Saedra runs into the blob of White Mantle, right? And the cutscene ends and she dies immediately. They do not start chasing you. You're in full view. They know you're there. They know you're springing Avenia out. They kill Saedra and then they just wander away. Right?
They do.
That utterly undermines everything that just happened in this cutscene.
We've gone through all of these missions where we had a timer, where we had to race to the end.
This is a perfect mission for that.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen.
And it double doesn't happen if you do the bonus, because if you do the bonus, that big horde of 12 Mursat that's ambling slowly up the path, you have to wait for them to go by. It takes 2 full minutes because you have to go behind them and talk to Henry Humperdinck or whatever his name is.
Hangmar or whatever his name is.
Hangaxe. Yeah. So, there's an H and an axe in there.
Hamdor Grandaxe, that's his name.
Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, so there's the urgency that this cutscene builds is just completely slapped away by everything that happens afterwards.
Yeah. Well, and I did wait for that blob of Mursat to go by because I needed them to amble their way ahead of me so that they didn't kill me.
They are so slow, even fighting enemy groups, you can stay ahead of them.
Yeah.
The first time I did this mission, so there's a couple, once you get out of this cave with Avenia, and you either wait for the Mursat ahead of you or you run ahead of them, there's a few fights you have to do. And the second enemy group is on a cliff above you. And I was like, fuck it, I'm running by these guys. Avenia did not agree with this decision.
So I fought the first group, my first playthrough, or whatever it was. I fought the first group and I was going to try to just run past them, and Avenia got stuck. And I was like, shit. And if she dies, this is going to fail. And she got stuck and was fighting and she got killed.
Is this a pleasant mission to replay?
Not particularly. But of course, once I found that back door and I knew where I was going, I was like, fine, I'll just go and do this and that'll be fine.
Yeah, this is far from the worst mission in the game. It didn't aggravate me very much.
It's not Dunes of Despair level of annoyance.
No, but it is kind of long.
It is.
And replaying it is annoying for that reason. Yeah, I was eventually able to get it done. Just killing all the mobs so that I'd stay with Avenia. There's a few, because we have to protect another NPC in the last mission we do in this episode, and there was a few close calls with that for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we get Avenia to the end of the mission, there's a boat.
There is a boat, and it belongs to the Deldrimor dwarves. And we board the boat, and we get another cutscene.
And a speech is given.
Yes, Avenia gives us a long speech about making sure that Sadra's sacrifice is not in vain. And she basically calls out the gods of Tyria.
Yeah, I thought she was calling out the Mersat. No, she's issuing a dire threat to the gods.
To the gods of Tyria, yeah.
She says if she finds out, if she finds out Sadra has been mistreated in the afterlife, that there's gonna be fucking hell to pay.
Pretty much.
What a lunatic.
I know, as Balthazar as my witness, I will make all of you pay. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, and she says for any drop... Yeah, for every drop of blood that the Mersat spill, we will spill 2 in return.
Right. Yeah, she's a little dialed up.
She's amped. Yeah, she's amped. And that brings us to the Iron Mines of Mullidoun. Yes. I assume that's where our ship lands. And our new mission is to find the seer, because holy shit, the Mersat cannot be dealt with without some sort of protection against their magic.
That is right, because they are everywhere here.
Yeah.
And also we have to find Marquis.
Yes. So there's a kind of, the mission here is kind of twofold. We need to find Marcus and kill him, and we need to get our armor enchanted against the Mersat's magic.
That's right.
Avenia is the podium lady.
She is.
She is sad about Sadra. She wants us to kill Marcus, and she says, by the way, you should also look into that whole seer thing. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the gist of her entire dialogue tree.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
I did like a line of the character's own dialogue. When you bring up Marcus to her, she's like, yeah, he was a real bad guy. And the dialogue on the option we can click is, quote, a more wicked man I have not met.
I have not met, yes.
That's very funny.
And she's like, agreed.
Yeah, she's like, oh, yes, quite. Yes.
Yeah.
Most wicked. Most wicked indeed.
Most wicked, yes. Because of him, many good people, many of our friends have died. And it's like, okay.
Well, and it was, so as you're reading her paragraph that she has to say about him, I was thinking to myself as I'm reading it, I'm like, he's like a mustache twirling villain.
He is.
He's comically evil. Like, he's like, not only have I betrayed the White Mantle, I am assisting in hunting down and murdering every last one of them. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know why he hates the White Mantle so
much.
Or not the White Mantle, but the Shining Blade.
The Shining Blade.
He hates the Shining Blade so much.
Yeah. Like, what did they do? That drunk the White Mantle Kool-Aid.
Yeah, if you're hunting them down, like, if you're betraying them to, like, be on the winning side, or, like, even for money or whatever, what is his motivation for, like, I get that he knows the White Mantle is going to hunt them down, but he's, like, personally assisting with extermination of the Shining Blade.
I bet you he asked Avenia out on a date and she told him no.
Is he a man scorned?
I don't know.
I like this canon. He looks like the kind of guy who would react this way to being turned down for a date.
Pretty much.
Is Marcus an incel?
I don't know, man. Maybe.
I think that's the secret plot line of Guild Wars Prophecies. Theory? Yeah, the secret plotline of Guild Wars Prophecies is that one of the key villains is driven by involuntary celibacy.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Think on that, commenters. Agree or disagree, and why, in the comments, please.
There you go.
I can't imagine anyone will respond to that.
No. But anyway, so we've got to go and find this ancient seer, get ourselves protection against the spectral agony, and then go and kill Marcus. Those are the objectives, basically.
And I would say 75% of this mission does not need to exist.
Yeah.
This mission is, if you pull up Guild Wars Wiki, pull up the Guild Wars Wiki, and you go to the Iron Mines of Mullidoun page, and you look at the routes for this mission.
It's you're going up, and then you're coming back down.
and
around, and you're going in a ziggy-zaggy because you're following the frozen river, because especially for the first part of it, you have to avoid the Mersat and taking the big spectral agony damage.
And if you go ahead and open your dictionary and look up the word meander. You're gonna find this map of Iron Mines of Muladun in your dictionary as the definition.
We're going on a big walkabout.
Yeah, and we just kill. It's like a greatest hits of Shiver Peak's enemies.
Yes,
you run into a little bit of everything here.
Pretty much.
There's some tundra giants. There's some blessed griffins, which are just the same griffins from the desert. They're just snowy now. I think there's a pine soul somewhere.
Yeah, mountain trolls.
Mountain trolls. There's a couple ice imps. So yeah, it's kind of just like, hey, in case you didn't explore any of the maps, here are all the enemies that we worked so hard to make that we want to make sure you experience.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any Avikara Tengu, which are the Tengu tribe that's in the Shiver Peaks.
Yeah. No.
But those are a thing. They're right outside. They're the first mob you fight outside Droknar's Forge. You'll run into them. And we do this to get to the seer.
Yes.
The seer.
How would you describe the seer?
The seer is my favorite part of this episode.
Okay.
The seer looks like an alien space traveler.
The seer looks like the Mersat, but just not golden, but black.
And they got like the classical 1950s alien. They got that face.
Yep. They also float. Same feet.
They float. Yep. And
multiple arms, and they don't have the tendrily wings.
Yeah, and their skin is gray.
Yep.
And they're dressed in a tattered black robe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna make a bold statement here.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the Seer's voiceover is the best voice acting in the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you not like it?
I'm trying to remember it. I think it was sort of samey.
I love it. It's like my favorite voice recording. It's really, it's just, you can tell it's really fun.
You're gonna have to put it into the episode now.
It almost sounds like a little bit technological.
Okay.
It sounds like technological. It just adds to this whole alien vibe that they're going for. And they put a lot of the voice actor put a lot of character behind it. They speak with weird they speak with weird inflections that you wouldn't normally use that make it sound all the more alien.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Quite like the Seer's voiceover. Really good stuff.
Yes. You are the Ascended Ones the Dragon Glint has spoken of. Come in. I've been expecting you. I have traveled far and waited many long years to help you fulfill the Flame Seeker prophecies. What matters is that I am here to help you.
Once we reach the Seer, what do they have to say?
So the Seer tells us that they are part of an ancient race that was at war with the Mersat. And I'm trying to remember if I found this out from the wiki or from the mission, but they basically have been around for a while, and they were around before humans got to Tyria. I think that's from the wiki.
I think that's from the wiki, yeah. Because what she says is her kind of fought the Mersat for centuries, and she knows the magic that will protect us.
Right.
It's kind of easy to surmise that she predates humans, because, if you know the history of humans on Tyria, we've only been here for 1,000 years.
Right.
So it's perfectly reasonable to assume.
Yeah.
But, she's one of the elder races. I don't even think they're gendered, the Seers.
I think they're genderless, yes.
Yeah, I think they're just Seers.
Yes. But conveniently, whatever magic whatever defense they discovered is present in this creature that she calls the Eidolon, or Eidolon. And the Seer sends us to go and kill this Eidolon, which is conveniently located not that far from where it's
next door.
Out.
Yeah,
in the room next door. Go kill one of these things, and then bring its spectral essence, and it will infuse our armor against spectral agony, so we'll be able to fight the Mersat.
Yes. And the Eidolon is ludicrously easy to kill. It's got the same enemy model as the Moraga.
Yeah, it made me think or wonder if the Moraga are actually this, like the Moraga and the Eidolon are the same species.
I believe the enemy type is Phantom, because I believe so we run into this enemy model again on the Ring of Fire Island chain, which is where we'll be next episode, and I think they're just called Phantoms there. That might be in the Underworld, though. But yeah, they're a type of demon, I believe. The Moraga specifically, because I think the Moraga proper is a demon. And I don't know what the distinction between Phantom and Demon and, like, Apparition are in Tyria.
But basically, what we're led to believe is that the Eidolon, if the Seers were able to borrow the spectral protection or the spectral essence to protect themselves from spectral agony,
and they can weave it into your armor,
right? And if they had this protection, it still wasn't enough to defeat the Mersat.
Yes, and I don't think she says this in the mission, but I think what we learn at some point, if you're like a lore diver, right? I think you learn that. I think what you end up finding out is they discovered this technique way too late in their war with the Mersat. So that too late to make a difference. If they had it earlier in the war, they might have been able to pull it out.
Right.
But yeah, she gives it to us, so we get infused. Your henchmen that are with you in the mission, for that mission, they are infused. So they receive it as well. Were you to restart the mission, they would no longer be infused, right?
Right.
So yeah, but all henchmen in missions after this point are going to be infused. So an important distinction there. But
if you try to talk to the Seer again after you've given it the spectral essence, it just says, "I have no more armor that I can infuse. You're on even footing with the Mersat. Go do your thing now."
Yep, and this gave rise to the popular infusion run trend when this game was kind of in its prime, where you'd have your alt and you're like, "Oh, I don't have my armor infused," so you'd go pay someone like 500 gold to speedily run up there and do the infusion for you. I never had to do that. I think only like one or two of my characters are actually infused on my main account. I think most of them are not infused, because it's annoying. Every time you craft a new set of armor, you're like, "Oh fuck, I gotta go do Iron Mines of Mullidoon." Right? Like, what a nightmare. So yeah, not a lot of my armor sets are actually infused on my main account. And then we get to go kill Marcus.
And then we get to go kill Marcus.
Fine.
Is that what you did first?
No, I did the fucking bonus.
I did the bonus as well, because I was like, if I go kill Marcus, then the bonus is way down there past Marcus. So I better do that first.
The wiki is painfully vague on one specific point of this bonus that, like, drove me crazy. And then when I actually triggered the bonus, I was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Basically, I cleared every Mersat on this map because I was paranoid about where the bonus Inquisitor would spawn. Turns out the bonus Inquisitor spawns right next to the bonus NPC.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I wasted like 20 minutes of my life killing Mersat that I'm never going to get back.
That's okay.
But yeah, what is the bonus?
So the bonus, you have to go and find Shining Blade Scout Rider. And I've got in my notes, not to be confused with Blade Scout Rider from the Bloodstone Fen mission.
Okay, so I knew that there was another Scout Rider too. Yes. Like, I was like, I recognize that.
I was like, oh, this person's back, but no.
One's a guy and one's a girl, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Shining Blade Scout Rider is the girl. Blade Scout Rider is the guy.
ArenaNet. What do you? I mean, I suppose they could be like brother and sister, right? They could be a married husband and wife.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, because they've got the same name spelled the same way, Ryder.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Shining Blade Scout Rider tells us that she was captured by the Mersat, and then a Mersat called the Inquisitor came to interrogate her, and she says, "He just took my thoughts from my head."
Just
And-
scooped him out.
Yep, just did it. Just whoop, took the thoughts from her
Slurped
head.
him.
Yep. And says that the Shining Blade were heading to. So now the thoughts that were in her head was that the Shining Blade were heading to Thunderhead Keep to help the Deldemore dwarves.
Her one job was to just not think about that.
But she did. And so now the Inquisitor knows, and the Inquisitor's like, haha, I'm going to go and tell my friends. And so our job is to kill the Inquisitor before he goes through his little Mersat portal to tell his friends.
Yes. And it's funny because that Mersat portal, I'm pretty sure it's the portal that we leave out of after the next mission.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the exact same spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% like, I don't know if that's the idea in the actual story, but they filmed the cutscene in the game engine at this exact spot for this mission bonus. It's bizarre. It's really weird.
It's funny.
The Inquisitor, incredibly easy to kill. They spawn 2 feet away and you just run over and kill them.
Yeah, so my Inquisitor, the AI bugged out and he got stuck on a tree.
Oh, thank goodness.
And then when he got to about 25% health, he just stopped attacking. And I was like, oh, okay, stand there and let me just kill you. I'll do that then.
Well, so what the wiki's description of this bonus, like, is what made me paranoid. So the wiki's like, make sure you position your team where the Inquisitor spawns and have one person go over and trigger the bonus. This is making me think like, oh, this guy spawns miles away.
Yeah, and this guy's gonna like take off, and I'm gonna have to like hike to go and get him.
Yeah, the wiki is describing this like it's very hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went and cleaned out the entire map in preparation for this.
Yeah, I did as well. I was like, I'm not letting him like team up with his like Mersat boss friends. I'm taking them out. I'm not letting any of the White Mantle come and help. I'm gonna take them out. And then he went and got stuck on a tree.
Yeah, which is not necessarily a problem with the game design. The game design is good because it spawns it right there, right? Because you as the player should not be expected to predict some horse shit, right? We've been trolled by the wiki in this particular scenario.
Yes.
So that was incredible. But yeah, easy bonus to get done. The Inquisitor does not get the scooped thought goop back to the
his
Mersat.
buddies.
Yeah, even though you'd think that like the 4 powerful spellcasting Mersat that are with him could like leave some other way. I don't know.
But no. Yeah.
But yeah, they can't escape us because they're since we have true sight, their invisibility powers that give them the name the Unseen Ones don't work. Right. So
that's right.
There is no escape. Yeah, there is no escape from Aaron.
That's right.
But yeah, now we are free and clear to go up and dispose of Marcus.
Yes.
How did that go?
It was pretty easy. You just have to make sure that you don't over aggro his friends, his little patrol friends of Mersat and White Mantle.
And you can kill them first before you even aggro Marcus.
Which is what I did, and then I went in, and he hatched his little Jade Constructy friends out of their rock eggs.
And you just kill everything.
You just kill everything. So
and you have to kill everything. You can't just kill Marcus. You have to kill the Jade Constructs as well.
Yeah, although I think I had a Jade Construct that was still up and off somewhere. But anyways, the point is that I killed him. And then, because I remembered to bring the Signet of Capture, I went and captured Barrage.
Perfect. So you have your Barrage now. Now you are a complete ranger.
Except that I forgot that Barrage, when you use it, if you've got preparations up, Barrage cancels them all. And I was like, what the hell is stripping my preparations? And I was like, right.
Are you reformatting your whole build to accommodate for Barrage, or are you ditching Barrage?
I'm not sure yet, but I've got to figure it out still.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking about it.
Well,
because it would have actually been, it was, when I had the ability to have Melandru's Resilience or whatever it was that I took, having that hex degeneration protection was actually pretty convenient.
Right.
So I don't know.
The health regen from it is pretty handy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of weighing my options. I got 2 elites and I got to figure it out.
Nice. I forgot to capture Barrage. The reason I wanted to capture it is because in Nightfall you get heroes, and if you have skills unlocked on your account, a hero can use it. So it was really a real missed opportunity there on my part. But what I thought was funny is I killed Marcus and his Jade Construct buddies. I neglected to kill one of the White Mantle Seekers, who proceeded to fire arrows at my team throughout the entire ending cutscene.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so that was my team is just getting randomly struck with arrows, and he's switching targets each time he shoots. Yeah, so like little Tom gets hit, and then Alicia gets hit, and then Reyna gets hit. It was good. I like that. That if you leave one of those guys alive, he'll just plonk at you while you're cutscening. And what was the cutscene? What did the cutscene cover?
So the cutscene, when we kill Marcus, we get a cutscene. Evenia comes out. She's no longer the podium gal. Now she's acting like she's been in our fight the whole time. And she basically goes in there to shake her fist at Marcus and curse him from having any kind of rest in the afterlife, and basically dance on his corpse.
Yes, and one thing that I did notice during the Marcus fight is Marcus talks trash to us while we're fighting. He's like, you'll never leave this place alive, and I should have killed you a long time ago in the jungle, right?
Yeah.
So, Marcus is garbage. He's only like level 22. He sucks.
Yes.
And then, Evenia gives us a little bit of a talk, and then we cut to the dwarves.
We cut to the dwarves fighting each other. The Deldrimor dwarves trying to fight off the Stone Summit, and we see the point when the Stone Summit take Thunderhead Keep from them. And
I think, I might be mistaken, but I think this cutscene shows us something we have never seen before up to this point in the game.
And that would be?
The inside of a building.
Oh, true.
Guild Wars 1 is very famous for you never go inside anything. You are always outside, or if you're inside, it's like in a large cave. Right. And we go inside Thunderhead Keep to the throne room with King Jalis Ironhammer.
Yes, and his brother comes in and tells Droknar, my brain is like really
Droknar.
going now.
I think he is also an Ironhammer.
Ironhammer, yes, thank you. So Droknar comes in and tells Jalis to get gone, basically, because the Deldrimor can't afford to lose their capital and their king on the same day.
Yes, so apparently Thunderhead Keep is the capital of the Deldrimor Dwarves territory, even though it seems like Droknar's Forge is, because it has the big capital city icon on the map and all the armor vendors. But in the story, Thunderhead Keep is the Deldrimor Dwarven capital. It's where the king lives, and it's where his little castle is. That's right.
And so, but we don't see any Mursat in the keep at all.
No, it's not even. Is there any like screen shake or anything like that to like indicate it's under siege, or is it? Yeah,
no. It's basically you just seeing the Stone Summit and the Deldrimor kind of going after each other. So if you haven't been paying attention to the text telling you that the Mursat are fighting on two fronts, you would get the impression here that the Mursat are not interested in Thunderhead Keep at all. And it's just more of the civil war between the dwarves.
Yeah, and one of the first things that Hugo Bronzebeard says to us all the way back in Droknar's Forge is that Thunderhead Keep has been taken by the Mursat. Yes,
so we're actually getting a prequel type thing. Prequel.
Or I suspect just a writing oversight. I think it's just one line of dialogue from Hugo. Yeah. I think it's just a minor oversight. But yeah, it could be like a little bit of a time rewind. Either way, we learned that the Mursat have taken over Thunderhead Keep, and we need to...
Or the Stone Summit.
It's the Stone Summit. And I don't remember if Hugo Bronzebeard, because he mentions Thunderhead Keep being taken, I don't remember if Hugo says Mursat or Stone Summit. I have in my notes Mursat, but he might have said Stone Summit. But yeah, it's the Stone Summit that have overtaken Thunderhead Keep, which is bad, because they're like the Deldrimor dwarves deep blood enemy.
Yeah, because he says the Mersat have taken it. I've got his dialogue.
Yeah, he does, right? Yeah, Hugo says the Mersat have taken it. So it's probably definitely a writing oversight. That part of Hugo's dialogue. Because the actual story is Stone Summit. Right,
and then Korg tells us that even the Stone Summit have been driven from their minds. So it's like the Mersat, you're led to believe back from the primary quest that led us to Ice Caves seeking the Seer that the Mersat have gone in and basically disrupted all of Dwarven kind.
Yeah, I think there's just either they changed it late in the game, maybe, or just an oversight because we're dealing with 3 different fronts. Right. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting little thing we noticed. But we learned that Thunderhead Keep has been taken over by the Stone Summit, and in the next mission we're going to learn that the man, the myth, the legend, Droknar Stone Pate.
He's back.
Is the leader of that overtaking force.
Yes.
My man. I still can't believe it's Stone Pate and not Stone Plate.
Stone Pate, yeah.
That bugs me so much. But this, the conclusion of this cutscene, Jalis and Droknar get away, and we find ourselves at Thunderhead Keep Mission Outpost.
Yes.
Which is not Thunderhead Keep proper, because that's been taken over by the Stone Summit.
Correct. We've got to fight our way up to Thunderhead Keep proper to retake it.
And you know what I did as soon as I got to Thunderhead Keep?
What did you do?
I left into the ice flow explorable area, and I went to a little visited outpost called Marhan's Grotto.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have been waiting the whole fucking game to get the skill Crude Swing from the skill vendor at Marhan's Grotto.
And so you finally got yourself Crude Swing.
And the reason that I had to wait till this episode to get it is because you have to be infused to get here.
That's right.
Yeah, because Ice Flow is exclusively populated by Mersat and Jade constructs. And we're talking groups of like 5 to 8.
Dude, that's obnoxious.
Yeah, I tried to get here in last episode, when we finally made it to Droknar's Forge, and I spent about 2 hours trying to do it, and I couldn't do it.
Oh, wow. You are... Yeah, that's some dedication.
Yeah, so now that I'm infused, I went and got that, so I now have Earthshaker and Crude Swing on my bar, so the build is more or less complete.
So how long did it take you to get to Marhan's Grotto now that you're infused?
Oh, it took me like 5 minutes.
As opposed to 2 hours.
Yeah, no, because I could leave from Thunderhead Keep. I was leaving from Droknar's Forge last time and not stopping at any outposts on the way.
Okay.
So yeah, it was an absolute nightmare.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So we get some new henchmen at Thunderhead Keep, don't we?
We do. Yes. We get the gang.
We get the gang and someone called Eve, which I don't think the game is introduced at all up to this point.
No.
But she's apparently one of the gang.
Yeah, she's one of the gang. She's a necro, and she's pretty badass.
She's better than Claude.
Yes.
Because I was looking at her skills, and I was like, these are not half bad.
Yeah.
She's got an elite skill that's like an AoE health degeneration. It's pretty good. She's got Blood Ritual to help my casters with their energy management. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's got a couple other things, and I'm like, this could work.
Yeah. So, did you bring Eve?
Yes, I did. Who did you? So, how have you, in the light of our new henchman acquisitions, and we can go over them? It's the gang that we know so far: Devona, Aiden, Menlo, and Sin. And then additional Eve, the Necromancer, who is probably featured on the most popular of the box art for Guild Wars Prophecies. Yes. I think the most well-known box art for Prophecies is Eve.
Yeah.
And I'll flash a picture of it on the screen here. When I say that, it's mainly for me to remember in the edit. But yeah, and Devona the Warrior, Aiden the Ranger, Sin the Elementalist, and who's the other one? Menlo the Monk.
Menlo, yes, we finally get a healer that is a little bit better.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Well, because I think what makes Menlo because I think he has the same build, like same exact build, but I think his AI is less cursed.
I think he's a little smarter.
Because he doesn't seem to just eat shit like Alicia does.
Right.
So I don't know what the deal is there, but maybe it's a placebo effect. I don't know, but just having a different monk along seemed good. And then, so there's 5 of these new henchmen. Yeah. And one of them is a warrior, so Devona replaces Stefan.
Yep.
And Aiden replaces Reyna. Sin replaces Orion. And Eve replaces Claude. And then I think I missed someone.
Dunham is still there.
Dunham is still there.
Lena is still there.
And Lena is still there. So,
yeah. Little Tom, Lena, and Dunham are still with us.
And since I'm a warrior myself, I decided to drop Little Tom so that I could take... Because otherwise it was going to be between Dunham and Eve, and I wanted to take both of them. Because Dunham has Power Block, which is a badass skill.
It is.
So yeah, Little Tom bit the dust from my party comp. So it's me and Devona at the top, and then all casters. Except Aiden, who is a ranger. Aiden is by far and away better than Reyna. If you look at their skill bars, Aiden has incendiary arrows, which is like it's kind of like barrage, but it sets people on fire.
Yes.
It's a disgusting skill, actually.
It really is.
So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the new henchmen, and they perform pretty well too. How did you edit your party comp?
So I kicked. Who did I kick? So the gang came along. I still took Little Tom.
Because you need a little bit more melee presence than I do.
Yeah, so I brought Devona and Little Tom. I did not bring Aiden because I've got myself.
Right, that makes sense.
And even though I took Barrage and Preparations, which then thoroughly confused me throughout the entire mission until after I was done, and I was like, right, it's Barrage that's stripping my Preparations. Idiot. But then I brought Eve and Dunham. I took Sin. Yeah, so I think I just left Aiden on the bench.
Gotcha. And here's the biggest question.
Yeah.
Did you talk to the henchmen?
No, I forgot again.
It's not that interesting.
Okay.
So I talked to Devona, and she just has stuff to say that we already know about her. Like, her and her father were both in Ascalon's Chosen.
The same. Right.
Yeah. Sin. I didn't even write on anything that Sin actually says. I just wrote Sin is very threatening and aggressive.
Still.
Yeah. She talk to her and she's just like, yeah, everything I touch dies. Fuck off, loser. Like, that's pretty much the gist of her dialogue.
Much, yeah. Yep.
And then Menlo actually has some interesting history about him.
Okay.
Menlo says he worships both Duena and Balthazar because his mother was a Balthazar worshiper and his father was a Duena worshiper. And that he grew up in Serenity Temple, which we visited in Ascalon.
Yes.
To get our Eldritch Sextants checked out.
Right.
Everything all roads lead to Eldritch Sextants.
That's right. Yes.
She's still reviewing those sextants for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then
she sent us Lena, so there you go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Lena is as well. So that makes sense why we now have Menlo and Lena as the monks because they're both Serenity pilled.
Right.
And then Eve, she basically indicates that people think she has a reputation for causing trouble. I don't know where that comes from because we are not introduced to her in the game in any way before now. I don't think.
Right.
I don't think she has any Ascalon quests or anything.
So here's the thing, because I was like, oh my gosh, the gang is all here, and we, okay, great, this is awesome. I'm so excited we get to use the gang as our henchmen now.
Except Aiden for you, who is a shitter and on the bench.
Well, okay. But still, I was still wondering, like, if we went through all of Iron Mines of Muldoon and we took the trouble to get our armor infused. Clearly, these henchmen have their armor infused because they can fight the Mersat.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I feel like this was a missed story opportunity for the writers to let us take the gang with us in Iron Mines of Muldoon. Let us all experience armor infusion together. Instead of having Lena, Little Tom, and Dunham be the 3 holdovers, and the rest of them just kind of show up.
I actually had the same thought. I thought it would be better to have them introduced in the previous mission.
It would have been really cool story flavor.
Yeah, to be like, hey, we all got to go get infused together, right?
Yeah.
That would make so much more sense. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yep.
But we've got them now, and
We do. And
they're
nice
pretty.
upgrades.
They're pretty strong.
Yeah.
I did immediately. So we're gonna talk about the podium guy in a second, but I did immediately eat shit with the new henchman actually because one of the fights at like the beginning of the mission has these two. There's like 2 or 3 ice golems up on a vantage point that you can't quite get to, and they just rain down very high elemental damage on you, and
they do.
Yeah, it was a disaster. But other than that, they're very good. We got to talk to Gramble Stonebook as the podium guy. And I feel like, because I don't think Droknar Ironhammer is in the mission at all.
No.
I feel like they could have made him the podium guy.
But I guess the implication is that he's supposed to be like trying to. I guess he was the one who stayed behind. Okay. He was the one who stayed behind while Jalis left. Right? He's like, "Go, King, brother King." Go.
I thought they left together because there's a secret passageway.
No. It's Droknar tells him to leave, and Jalis leaves with his guards. Guards, let's go. Okay. And then they go back through the secret doorway.
So if anything, we are going with Jalis to rescue Droknar and save THK.
Except that Droknar never shows up till the very, very end.
He shows up at the very end, in the cutscene. He does not show up like physically in the gameplay. But yeah, the random dwarf Gramble Stonebook tells us that the Stone Summit have taken over Thunderhead Keep. He says it happened this morning. And then I'm like, the entire timeline of like how long it takes between things happening and prophecies is very it's not nailed down in any way. It's very unclear.
No. Yeah. Because how did we get there so quickly?
He said this happened this morning, and we heard about this from Hugo Bronzebeard. So, is the canon that we perform all the Silver Peaks missions in a single day?
I mean, right.
Ice Caves of Sorrow in the morning, Iron Mines in the like middle noon, and then THK in like the afternoon, evening.
Yeah. I guess so.
I would be exhausted. Can you imagine?
I mean, yeah, because it took us several days because we have lives, but apparently in game we don't.
I was exhausted sitting in a chair playing it.
Yes, but in game we are never tired. We are always full of spunk and energy, and we're just always raring to go.
Bingo. Yep. So our character says no problem. Let's do it.
Right. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's not a very complicated mission briefing. We need to go kill everything at Thunderhead Keep and take it back.
Yeah.
In fact,
rendezvous with the king and take it back.
The only mission note I have is you can knock Droknar down with an exclamation point because I didn't think you'd be able to.
Oh.
But I remember most of the mission. You go to Thunderhead Keep and you kill everything.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
There's kind of a tough fight with some ice golems at the beginning that I lost a few bodies to, but after that, you like work your way into the fort. It's like kill 5 enemy groups, and you go kill them. Mm-hmm. There's some enslaved frost giants.
You can actually, if you don't follow the path that the wiki tells you to take at the beginning, you can kind of go a back doorway and run into the Avikara Tengu.
Oh, so we do get some Avikara Tengu eventually.
Yeah, and they're right at the start, but you have to kind of go. You know where the ice golem things that were raining down their elemental rocks at you?
Yeah.
They're back there. There's the little path that goes up there, and the Avikara are all back there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then you find a little backside path that takes you to the other side of the bridge.
And that kind of completes the smorgasbord of available enemies in the Sugar Peaks. Because I think there's some ice imps in Ice Caves of Sorrow at the very beginning.
Yes.
Ice imps.
They're hanging out with the Pine Souls.
Yeah, ice imps are nightmarish because they have Mind Freeze and Maelstrom, and these 2 skills combined are an absolute disaster to deal with.
Yes, they're very annoying.
Because Mind Freeze slows your movement by 90%, and Maelstrom makes damage tick on you and interrupts with every damage tick. It's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. As a warrior, this is not a problem for me because I'm not a caster, but woe unto you if you're a spellcaster and you get hit with this combo. So yeah, ice imp, something to be avoided, but they don't really show up again past the Shiver Peaks. So. No. Once we get past the initial, like, there's like the garrison and the fort or something like that. Once we get through like the inner gate to the keep proper, Dagnar's waiting for us in the middle.
Dragnar is in the middle, just sitting there on his ice drake horse, and he doesn't charge at you. He doesn't say anything. And Jalis, at this point, Jalis is following you. Jalis doesn't say anything to Dragnar either. And I'm like, all right, well, they got nothing to say to each other. I guess we'll just go kill them.
Missed opportunity for fun dialogue.
I thought that would have been fun.
Yeah, and my hammer hits are so beastly that they can knock a guy sitting on a dragon down, apparently. I like that. Devona, also incredibly sweet build for a henchman. She is an Earthshaker hammer warrior also. Oh, nice. So me and Devona are twinsies.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, so we're just knocking shit down left and right. It's fantastic. That's great. Yeah. So yeah, we kill all the stone summon inside. We kill Dragnar. He's like a level 28 elementalist. He's not too bad. Anything that's like 1v8 in this game is not hard.
No.
And then the Mursat start to attack.
But before we get the Mursat, once you kill Dragnar, we get a cutscene.
Do we?
We do. And who shows up?
Wait.
As a holograph.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought this was all at the end, but yeah, so we get a Vizier Kilbron cameo here.
Vizier Kilbron shows up not in bodily flesh. He shows up as a projection.
Yeah, he's using like the flu network from Harry Potter. He's just sticking his head in the fire.
Yeah. And he shows up as like in a ghostly realm of, he's very translucent.
Yeah, he's absolutely not there in body. He is a ghost.
Yeah.
He's an apparition. This? Yeah, I don't know. But we're going to talk about it a little more later because this isn't the last of Kilbron we're going to see in the mission.
No, but here he tells you, hey, that's nice. You've killed the Stone Summit. That's great. Get ready. The White Mantle and the Mursat are coming for you now.
Yeah, I have in my notes, Ghostly Vizier Kilbron is randomly back out of nowhere with no explanation.
Yeah, I've got, hey, thanks, buddy, for finally showing up.
Yeah, it's very abrupt and jarring, him just showing up like this.
And he's like, but don't worry, they're coming, but I've got some help for you. And he goes and whips out, because he's still wielding the Scepter of War, he's like, here, have some undead to help you. And I'm like, help us against what? They're not even here yet.
Yeah, he summons like a couple smoke methods, or whatever they're called. Smoke phantoms.
The Azure.
Yeah, I didn't check what level they are. I don't know if they're a relevant level to be of any help.
I mean, they kind of, if you're trying to run the bonus, because the bonus is supposed to be run apparently now.
This bonus is awful, by the way.
Did you actually successfully complete it? Like, did you get credit for it?
I did, but I read on the wiki that sometimes it just bugs out and you don't get credit for it.
Because that's what happened to me.
Yeah, no, I read that on the wiki, and because it's a very long, arduous process. You basically have to sit there for 20 minutes while Mursat come at you one at a time.
Pretty much. And the bonus is basically to light some beacons, the beacons of Gondor.
The Gondors of Beacon. Yeah.
The beacons of Gondor have to be relit. There's only 2 of them, and they're like just right there on either side of a long platform. You don't even need a speed boost. You just run from one, pick up the little enchanted torch, light it, drop it, go to the other one, do the same, and you should get credit for it so long as you do it before Jalis says something like the Deldrimor are going to war or something.
Well, because I don't think this takes very long if you don't do the bonus. So not doing the bonus, the mission's pretty quick, if I remember correctly. You only get these like this trickle of Mursat spawns over like 25 minutes if you light those beacons.
Well, there you go. I lit the beacons and I didn't get credit for it.
Yeah, there's a wiki entry that says, hey, just so you know, you might just not get credit for the bonus for no reason.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, so that's not very fun. I'm sorry that happened to you.
That's all right.
I will pour one out for you in that
Thanks.
regard.
I appreciate it.
Because doing this bonus is awful. It's so boring.
Yeah, because it makes it like this, and the wiki does say like this is basically an AFK mission. And they're not wrong. You
could park your henchmen and walk away. They'll do it for you. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
100%. Because Jalis is the only NPC inside the fort, so all the enemies will go to Jalis. And if you just park your henchmen on top of him, you could walk away and go make dinner. Like, this will get completed.
Yeah.
That being said, I did almost lose Jalis because I led enemies to him, and then I forgot that he existed, and I promptly walked away.
Well,
so
and the thing is that, because he will move out to fight, but won't go back to his little perch.
He will sometimes, but not every time. Because I noticed that he would go out to fight, the enemy would die, and he would stand where the enemy died.
Yeah.
And then like a few points during the mission, I'm like, oh, he wandered back to where he's supposed to be.
Oh, he never wandered back from me. He always just stood there like, doo-doo-doo.
I think the scripting in this mission is very broken.
Yeah.
Or damaged, rather.
I wish that we could, like, because I tried talking to him to get him to, like, say, oh, I'll follow you again, but he won't. Once you kill Droknar, he no longer follows you. He just kind of, like, acts on his own.
He just kind of does his own,
Yeah, you just have to make sure he doesn't die.
And he is not infused. Because he got Spectral Agony cast on him, and I thought it was over with how fast his health was going down. Luckily, Menlo saved him on like 1 HP.
Oh, that's good for Menlo.
Yeah, Menlo came in clutch there because I was like very deep into the bonus at that point, and I was not looking forward. I was probably going to skip it if I had to redo it.
Right.
Because this bonus takes a very long time. These enemies come at you 1 or 2 at a time, and it's just slow going and boring. Once you get through that, and you don't get like the little sword animation for the bonus once the bonus content has concluded. You get it at the end of the mission.
Right.
But eventually a big blob of White Mantle shows up with Confessor Dorian, the leader of the White Mantle.
Dorian, yes. He shows up with a couple of cronies, and once you kill them, then essentially the mission's over. You just need to talk to Jalis to end the mission. Yeah,
you have to go over to Jalis. He's got an exclamation. And here's what I love about this. And the Confessor Dorian fight is not difficult. It's very easy. You just target the monk. I targeted the monk first, and then Dorian, and then everyone else.
Yeah.
He goes down super easy. What I love about the ensuing cutscene is that now the Vizier is here physically.
Yes, he shows up in bodily flesh, and we get this. I really like the cutscene at the end of this mission because it's basically a 3-parter.
But why did he need to do the fake apparition thing 20 minutes ago, and then he's here for real now?
He's trying to do crazy cool things.
He's like, I have to appear in this fire, but I'm also 20 minutes out. What the fuck? This is great. Yeah. Now he's really here. And when we're standing over Confessor Dorian's body, he's like, let's have him be useful one last time. And he summons 50 undead out of his body. I was
so confused. I was like, what does he mean the Confessor can still be of some use to us? Yeah. Because I missed that he used essentially his corpse to like summon up a bunch of
he summons like 12 undead out of his corpse at one time.
Yeah.
And then they go and like finish the battle for us.
Yeah. Which is funny because the Jalis is like, never give me an opportunity to take revenge. And he like just charges out behind the little undead army that Kilbron has like whipped up for him.
Yeah, no, Jalis is gone. He's ready.
Yeah, he's like, he's going to go after some more Stone Summit. And I'm like, you go do that.
We probably shouldn't be letting the king run off by himself into the enemy after we just saved him.
I know. I was like, how is that a good idea? But okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. He's got undead servants with him. It's fine.
He does, yes. Yeah. And then part 2.
Yep, there's a part 2, and Vizier Kilbron also says that this is just as it was written in the Flameseeker prophecies. The peaks of the Shiver Peaks will be painted with blood.
Yeah. At this time, the Ascendants will rise, and the way to the door will be clear.
Yes, and he says we have to go to the Ring of Fire, a volcanic island chain, to find, quote, the power we need inside a volcano caldera. So that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And he mentions the name of a place called the Door of Komali.
Yeah.
And that behind it is the secret to defeating the Mersat.
Yes. Yes. And Droknar, here's where Droknar, Ironhammer, shows up. And Chalice thinks that Kilbron's plan is foolhardy.
He says we won't even make it to past the shore if we try to go to. He doesn't say why.
No.
He just says we won't make it.
Yeah, he's like, you're a brave lad, but you're not going to make it past the beachhead. And I'm like, hey, thanks, man. We just, helped you retake your city.
I was going to say, I just killed, 40 Mersat. Granted, it was one at a time, but I killed all of them.
That's right. And then Droknar decides that he's going to lend us his assistance so that we're going to get the dwarves on our side. He is basically Gimli coming along with us.
Well, and it's interesting because Chalice says it's suicide. And Droknar says, okay, then we'll meet in the afterlife. And they basically just both agree, you're not coming back.
Right.
They agree on that right here. Mm-hmm. And they're not that sad about it.
No.
They're just well, a dwarf's got to do what a dwarf's got to do.
Yeah, it's like they fist bump each other.
Literally, It's very perplexing.
Yeah. So Droknar is going to be our Gimli, and he's going to come along with us as we try to throw the ring back into the fiery pit.
Yes, as we head to Mount Doom, essentially.
And we head to Mount Doom. We're headed to the Ring of Fire, aka Mount Doom. Yep. And so then we disappear through this Mersat teleporter.
Which is obviously the same teleporter from the Iron Mines of Mullidoon mission.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they stick the teleporter in their pocket and they're like, boop, here we go.
They're an ancient race of powerful spellcasters.
They could do anything that they want. Who knows?
Literally, yeah. Just like when we teleported out of Glintslayer, I looked around Ember Light Camp for the other side of this teleporter, and there is not one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did think it was interesting that so there's a part 3 to this cutscene.
Yes.
And what goes on in part 3?
Well, do you remember that creepy guy, the Undead Lich?
The metal album cover guy?
The metal album cover guy from way back when we just arrived in Kryta? I
believe the cutscene is at the end of the Gates of Kryta mission.
It is. And so here's the Lich. He's back.
Yes.
And now he has a friend.
He has a friend, some little undead guy. He's got a yellow boss aura.
He's got a yellow boss aura, and he's bald.
The warrior boss aura.
Yeah, and the undead lich is just on a stroll with his friend, and they're walking towards the teleporter, and the lich is all, it won't be long now.
Yes.
Not long at all, and all he's missing is the evil cackle. And they basically go through the teleporter as well.
Yes, and so far we know the name of this guy because of the game's subtitles. He's subtitled as Undead Lich.
Yes.
There is a dead giveaway in this cutscene to who the Undead Lich is. Did you see it?
No. Maybe I did, and I just didn't pay attention or didn't realize it. What did you see?
He has the scepter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then.
So if you're an astute viewer, you would notice that and put 2 and 2 together. So we'll leave that one up to you, listeners. We'll see how well you've been paying attention to our commentary. Mm-hmm. But that concludes the game content. This is clocked in at 2 hours, our longest Tyria Then episode ever.
Well, we went and were ambitious and knocked out three missions and a couple of side quests.
Yes. We did not bite off more than we could chew. We just took a very long time chewing.
We did, yes.
So next time we're going to be back with some volcanic, fiery Ring of Fire Island chain content.
Yep.
There are no side quests on the Ring of Fire Island chain.
No.
There are a bunch of bosses with elite skills to capture.
Yes.
The thing about bosses in Prophecies is they are random spawn. They are not guaranteed spawn. So I don't know if I fancy any boss hunting because it can be frustrating.
I'm going to have to go and see what skills are out there to make that decision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I might have a little rundown of what's available. But we will check that out next episode. I think we're going to do a bonus mission pack next episode. We're going to do the first couple missions. There's 3 missions on Ring of Fire. We're going to do 2 of them. And then we will hook you guys up with episode 16. Until then, Miko, where can people find you on the internet?
The good people can find me at Inky Sticks, anywhere a social media platform exists.
Perfect. And you guys, for me, can go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube, the follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you're one of our audio onlys, and leave a review, comment, any sort of interaction is what we like to see, because we like to interact back. And
right.
Twitter, Tyria Now. Go ahead and follow that. Tweet at us. Ask us for things that you want to see on the podcast. Chances are we'll do it. So do all those things. Arctic Alcoholic is our music guy, so that song you hear at the beginning and end, he does that. Go check out his YouTube channel. And we will see everybody for the next episode in 2 weeks' time from when this goes up. Later, everybody.
Bye.